All right, so here's the kicker. Here's the whole thing with philosophy, right? That the chances are that smoking a cigarette is probably healthy for you, even though they tell you that it's not. Then why was this invented? You got to go back to the person that invented this. The philosophy of a cigarette, the philosophy of life, the philosophy of traveling, right? You go somewhere, you want to take a break from walking, from being in a car, from being in the office, from working so far, from your wife, from sex, from anything. So you sit down and you have a cigarette. But there's so many brands out there. It takes a lifetime to find out that Newport is just a better cigarette, period. There might be a second one that is also good, but who's going to tell you that? So we watch these videos, we follow these movie stars, these models, these trees. We follow the trees. We follow nature. We follow the stars, just to find out that the cigarette is what basically makes you or gives you the happiness. It might not be a woman. In your case, it might be your daughters, your kids, your wife, your girlfriend. The feeling of meeting someone for the first time, a conversation you've never had, either with a man or a woman, whatever floats your boat, right? But it's all been done before, but maybe it hasn't. Maybe there's life on other planets. Maybe there's freaking slow stuff. Maybe I'm speaking too fast for you. Maybe other people just want it really fast. Just give me the information fast. And then after a while, I'm going to get rid of my guitar. I'm going to get rid of my bandana. I'm going to get rid of my wife and just do something that might be the wrong thing for you. Or maybe it is the right thing for you, just to get rid of everything. Go to a different country, go to Mexico and live a different culture. Go to Guatemala, go to Costa Rica, go to Costa Pobre, which is something invented in the last couple of years. So poor is basically better than rich. So when we see these philosophers talk from maybe 100 years ago, this video of this guy, then what is he talking about? Some might say he's just basically just talking something that made sense at that time, but it makes sense now. We have the magic where we can align it with your life, with the stars, with the trees, with your dog, or even better, with your cat. Even your cat is a philosophical or something in philosophy that meant something. We're all addicted to symbolism, to pictures, to moving pictures, to videos, to even the Rolling Stones dancing around and doing stuff, or maybe a guy in an airplane pretending that he's in Ukraine or he's in Russia saving the day. So the whole thing with philosophy or religion is that it doesn't really do it for you. Religion doesn't really do it for you, and the hero is basically a guy on video pretending. But if it's not pretend, if it's somewhere where it is true, then you have the yin and the yang, the good and the bad, the good cop, the bad cop, the good fireman, the bad fireman. I'm gonna go set fire in California to all the trees, or the good ambulance, the bad ambulance. I don't have the medicine for you. You got bit by a snake. What if the snake was your friend? Then I'm not afraid of the snake because I give the snake something and I'll give him again. I'm not there to kill the snake, even though he's bad. I'm treating him good. So there is truth to, always kind of being a rewarding person, even if you're just a person. And the tree just stands there, and all the tree could offer, the only reward the tree could give is, I'm going to give you shade, I'm going to block you from the sun. But if you change the sun to a daughter, then it's a loving daughter that gives you love. And if it's two, that's even better. If it's six daughters, that's even better. But then we have man-made rules where you're going to have one daughter, you can have six daughters, but in another country you might be able to have six. So the whole philosophy of America, make America great or make the family great again, doesn't exist anymore, because here in America we believe in the yin and the yang, the good and the bad. So it's basically, I'm going to do something good and then I have to undo it. So it doesn't really work, and then it becomes a kid game where the kid basically is ruining it for the adult that has been on the planet 100 years, and I'm basically done with being a kid. But I could also mimic, I could act like a kid and actually have some impact on the world, or even on this center right here. There could be justice somewhere else, but it doesn't really work here in Miami or in America because we're just consumed with so many things with advertising here, go there, go here. Every state is different, but at the end of the day, we're all going through this experience here. Who are you gonna dress like? Who are you gonna be? Are you gonna be a rock and roll guy with long hair? Are you gonna write beautiful love songs, or are you gonna be, a demon? And I'm here to basically tell you that you got to go into the office and become a zombie and be bad, and that bad eventually is gonna catch up to you because there's also good. So at this point, good in the long run kind of wins, even though in the movies the bad guy always loses, but sometimes the bad guy doesn't win. So we have to kind of be bad sometimes too, but just a little bad, big bad. If you're really bad, then you're doing mass shootings and you end up in jail and you get life in jail. So, uh, you know, there goes your adventure and stuff like that. So it doesn't really work. But basically, there's just tricks. You can kind of be bad, and there's always someone pushing you to be maybe a little badder. And then there's also other people. You could be better. You could be a good person, stuff like that. But the '60s are not here anymore. So it's a philosophy of the '60s, but that's still around even now in 2022. That's still around. So these people kind of had it right, but you just don't see it. It's invisible where you could go somewhere and you could live for free, you could eat for free, you could have and share families and art and many other things that might be illegal, like maybe smoking a cigarette. Maybe smoking a cigarette one day will be illegal. Maybe one day we could enjoy freaking driving a robot car. Maybe robots are illegal in the future. It's just an example, but it's just rules that are set by, I don't know, maybe an alien, maybe another planet. So that's why travel is so important. So when it comes to the philosophy of that, then they're just words. They're just words. Whether you're black, white, hippie, honky, Asian, freaking Hispanic, Hispanic, an athlete, or freaking whoever, you did too much. You didn't do enough in your life. Then there's no dying. There's cryogenics in another planet or another country where there is no dying. So then there's no consequence for the bad or the good. So then the good is saying, well, I can't let you in if you're going to be that bad. So then it becomes a game. I'm not really that bad. I'm just a kid, but let me in. Let me get more of that good technology where there's no dying. I fell for dying and stuff like that. That's the number one thing when I speak to my daughters and they're 6 years old or they're 2 years old. Then the first thing they say, well, I saw something on TV that showed, or someone showed me someone that got hurt or died or something like that. Besides that, there's just the philosophy of being free with a mountain or going somewhere and experiencing someone without any catches, without having any malice, or without saying, "Well, I have to give you something, whether it's good or bad." That's been already established. I say in the last 8,000 years. Jesus Christ was 2,000. The Buddha was another like 8 million years with the Asian calendar. The Mexicans have their own calendar. The Aztecs, maybe they left and went to another planet, so their philosophy is different. So we become these things where we're just there to steal and then make it our own, and then we were never part of that group in person. It's just video stuff. It's just video stuff that we do, and we copy rock and roll songs. And the person that wrote that, well, that's why they made millions of dollars, because they wrote this great Rolling Stones songs, or maybe another rock and roll song that had a lot of love, but they made their money. So they can't make their money. Money's not everything in life. So it makes sense to let go of that and sell it and have other people that get it for free. Free, and maybe at first you made money, but not in the long run, because you made money. Someone established that system of making money, and that's really what traps us. So it makes sense not to work your whole life just to get some of it, and then your other life where you can enjoy with your family in Mexico. And I myself was stolen as a kid. So there goes the philosophy of you are a race, you are brown, you are Spanish, you're black, you're white, you're redneck, or you're someone that dresses up, or you're rock and roll. There goes that philosophy, because it comes down to being identity. This is me showing my identity. It's about the girl showing the flower in Miami. I'm showing you my ass, my flowers. I'm a sexual being, but at the end of the day, when are you gonna get tired of that? There has to be some fanfare, some celebration, and there has to be a celebration after that. After that, and I could go my whole life being me, feeling good about my life, but then there's someone that comes. I've never felt that way. I have to steal. Why can't I be that guy? Why can't I do some of the things? It's the philosophy of what you believe in. So traveling is important because you might believe in something, you might go somewhere else, and they might teach you something else, and you might just forget about the stuff that you learned here. So that's important too. And the video is important because you can record yourself the way you were and kind of study yourself and see if this makes sense. That doesn't really make sense from the 60s now, but it does. But we want to know why it didn't work. Other people, stronger people, just didn't want it because then our new generation is, I'm not going to school. You went to school. Why should I waste my whole life? If you, didn't you learn from school? Well, it's the new stuff. There's a computer there. Well, didn't you have someone that also went to in the family that learned about the computer? Aren't their stories important too? Well, yeah, we do, but you know, we basically want to get rid of you because you're a kid, and that's what everybody's doing. Everybody's sending their kids to school, so I'm just trying to fit in. So the whole protest thing comes to like you protesting in your whole life, but it shouldn't have to be that way. It shouldn't have to be a big thing. It should just be a personal choice that you have, whether you want to wear purple, whether you want to wear white, black, or maybe something with a rainbow or a logo of Zeus, if you like Zeus, or if you want to go to Greece or some other, if you want to go to Mexico and wear a picture of Mexico, it comes down to like what you like. But there's so many other things influencing you that basically it becomes a thing where like you start to lose yourself, you know. So that's why that video that we saw today was important because that's him, and it's not really taken out of context, but it worked. But you know, 40 years later it might not work because there's fewer and fewer people like that, and there's no communes, and there's, it's basically like you're back in kindergarten. Even when you go to a rental community, well, you have to have the rent on time, or you have to deposit it this way. They weren't part of that philosophy where everything is free and there's just stars, and a star is just floating there free, and so is a planet. So it might sound childish, but going to a planet and say, oh well, you've been here all this life for free, we have to not charge the planet for orbiting around the sun, or a daughter, or orbiting around Beta Centauri, another galaxy. We're just doing it differently, even though we're going to Mars with Elon Musk or something, that charging a planet for rent just because I'm human and I came up with that. The planet might not see it that way. I'm just here. I don't follow your philosophy of charging. So maybe that's why we're not there yet, or maybe, you know, whoever created the planets, the stars, space, floating, oxygen, all that stuff, whoever created that, maybe it was a teamwork of different ideas, different countries doing that, or different just aliens, if you want to call it, or different human beings. So it makes sense that there's more than one, just like there's more than one color. So it becomes absurd after a while. You charging your own kids, whether you get a good kid or a bad kid, it is like that sometimes. You sometimes have chemistry with someone, and you do it for free because I like the person. If you don't like the person, then I'm stuck with a kid that I don't like, whether a daughter or a boy, or maybe someone that's transgender, or maybe a she-male. I have a she-male and I don't like. Maybe I could give her away for adoption or something like that, or give her to another family. So it becomes about me being happy, whether I'm with my wife or with a daughter or myself. There's a lot of people out there that don't like themselves. So it becomes about classifying the people, but not over classifying. Just know that there's just different kind of people, and trying to find the group that you're in that you get along with, and you understand there's other people that like yellow hair or green hair, and that's their philosophy. So it's also about boundaries and respecting their boundaries too. You know, whether it's the KKK or whether it's Black Power, they have their boundaries, and it's okay for them to believe in that. It's their philosophy. But I also have to take care of me first and go somewhere and be safe, and not, you know, choose not to maybe like a certain kind of cigarette. You know, it could be just a cigarette that I don't like. There might be healthy cigarettes that I do like, or healthy water. Not all waters taste the same, so there might be water that I just like better, or I have to invent my own water and then I have to advertise to get the people that I like to drink this water or do it for free. So there is a lot of nonprofit stuff like that. So traveling helps with other people, and then you see people that are happy in their lives in other countries without the advertising of being rich or poor or having a car or having a family. There's a lot of people that are happy without families. So it's not just about families. And stress is a man-made thing. So if you think you're stressed and you have a disease, that's man-made. That's man-made. And go to the doctor and get more medicine because I went to school and I have to make my money. The corporation knows that I have to get my money in the corporation to spend money on the building and the license and the advertising. So they have to too. But it's a bunch of people behind the corporation. So I'm sorry I did that for a living, but maybe someone came and woke me up and said, forget about the corporation and the making the money with the Xanax or whatever medicine you're taking to cure HIV or AIDS or cancer. There's another place where you don't have to worry about that, and there is no cancer, no AIDS, and there's no dying like cryogenics, and we could bring you back this cloning. You could clone your hair, you could clone your daughters, and you could clone yourself and be happy. So it's not really all about that at some point. So we have to move forward in the evolution of the daughter, which is something that I'm working on, but not here in this country. Even though there's a lot of freedom in this country, there might be more freedom in Mexico. $1, I'm a rich man in Mexico. I could get an apartment in Mexico for $300, a two-bedroom apartment for $300, or maybe three bedrooms for $200. I could rent that out to people that I like. I can have my own family. I can't even get one room for $800 here in Miami. Not even $400, $600. So it makes sense to go somewhere else. Someone did it that way, where the currency is just cheaper in other countries. And if you go to Europe, good luck. That's like $4,000 an apartment. So the euro is just more money. They don't want Spanish people or American people in Europe. Maybe the jazz is just better. The music is better in Europe. The jazz, or they got freaking some other stuff there, and then I am no longer Spanish. Or maybe I took from that European culture and came to America and became, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or even Virgin Atlantic with that technology, and now I'm just a British guy, or maybe a guy with an accent, or maybe Snowden, the analyst, or maybe I became that philosopher that we talked about, or maybe I became a comedian, George Lopez, or maybe another Mexican that walks in the 60s, or maybe I became, some other famous Spanish guy. But they're all celebrities. So with YouTube, you too can voice your opinion. And that's what's great about it. But no one is saying that anymore. Oh, yo, this is great. This is great for freaking rock and roll, for the Rolling Stones, for freaking Tom Cruise, Rock of Ages. This is great for those people, and they could be YouTubers, and they too can sing along. No one is really saying that anymore, but it is true. It's here, so maybe another planet with different rules or no rules. But it's the people that take advantage of the rules, but there shouldn't be any rules. It should just be people that you get along with, or cloning yourself. And then there's always someone that says, "Wait, what if there's a problem?" There shouldn't be a problem. There's no problem with the space, with the planets orbiting and stuff like that. That might just be man-made. That a comet is gonna come and extinct the dinosaurs and the humans. That might just be a story. If I believe in that story long enough, it starts to become real. So that's why the philosophers and philosophy is so important to believe in that. Because if you do it over and over and over, then it becomes a reality. So there's no problem with that. There's no problem with a tree. A tree kind of just grows and protects me from the sun. But there's also other magic that protects me from the sun. Besides the tree, we just can't publicly talk about it. Just like we can't talk about classified secrets with Tom Cruise and NASA and stuff like that. Just stuff that I can't really talk about, because then someone, if it gets in the hands of the wrong person, then we have USSR versus US or Ukraine taking over on Russia or some other country or something like that. So it's really about the hands that are that are not good, that are gonna hurt your family, your daughters and stuff like that. And when I say that, there's also bad families out there. So when I say the people that are gonna hurt your families, then everybody gets emotional and say, yes, I don't want my daughter to be a victim, or my family, or my dad, or my mom, or my papi. But there's also bad families, just like there's bad everything somewhere, but maybe there is a place where there is no bad. And then they're trying to get in there to make it bad or evil. But there's so many things out there that we're just preoccupied every day with the everyday normal, and that's basically people's lives, which is fun. I've done that before, but it's not going to be my whole existence. So some of the movies help when I do all this crazy stuff in movies, and you too could do that. But for a little bit, hey, wasn't my version kind of cool? I'm dancing around. It's my day off, Freddy's Beauty day off, or freaking, isn't that cool? That song, that Mexican road, or even that Cuban road, or freaking some other freaking maybe communism was supposed to work. The government takes care of the people, and that's it. Everybody lives for free. It's like some utopia. That was a good one, but we can't really show that to you because we need you to go out there and work for the next Apple phone. But there is a cheaper phone, an Apple phone, $800, $8,000 for an Apple phone. There is a cheaper phone uh, for $80, and then $20 for the internet. So it's a lot cheaper. So that's great for those people. But sometimes pain does pay off, and then sometimes you're just getting ripped off with the Apple phone. Crazy, but it's not really about Steve Jobs and his experience. It's also about, I think he's Syrian, about those people in Syria walking from one country to another. What is that about? So it's never happened in America, but we hope that they get, their families and a place to stay and stuff like that. And there's a lot of credit to the inventor that invents stuff like that. But there's also a lot of credit for a man and a woman to invent a daughter, have a daughter, and teach her what your experience was. Who taught Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, their parents? Who instilled that in that guy to be like that? And where was the nice guy? The nice guy also gets along. It's not always about the dick getting, the office and all these people in the office. I have to do it my way. Apple has to succeed. I have to have my fanfare, or I have to have my party, and me and Bill Gates are going to take over the world with the internet. Uh, where are those guys? Those guys also basically having their fanfare, but it's not forever. So that's why the YouTube guys are kind of like the Hollywood guys, where they're there and they're giving you a shot to voice your opinions. And it's not about the Apple guy in a computer or in an office for a million years to try to invent the computer or a small phone. It's really about a bigger picture about the YouTube guy, where anyone could entertain, and I could go somewhere and show you a girl dancing on the beach, or people dancing on the beach, or me surfing, and I don't even need a cell phone. I don't need a cell phone, and you too could be part of that. But I'm not a rich millionaire where I could show you the whole world. But that little bit right there could mean the whole world to someone that just wasn't there, wasn't able to see that. So there is power in me, and just going to the beach and doing that, and also writing something, a poem or poetry, or maybe the philosophy of life and stuff like that. It changes. There's other people that sound a certain way. I might sound like I have an accent, but there's some other guy that might sound either better or worse. So for now, I'm staying Spanish, but I had not seen that guy for a while. So it was important, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna live my life exactly to a T. I have to also see other stuff and experience other stuff too, like this cigarette. So also to the guy that invented cigarette, the philosophy is just a cigarette. Just because I did this, or just because I moved like this, or I played my guitar like this, or I sang a certain way, or I love you like a love song by Selena Gomez. It's crazy the magic a song has, which is only 2 minutes. So basically, we all have our movies in life, but I met two people that teleport, so they have different languages. So it's also about learning that, but it's also about leaving this place and seeing other things that are good. But maybe I won't write home about it. Maybe I'll just stay there and meet other people. The daughters, the three stars, the three daughters out there will wish me luck. Maybe they'll teleport or they'll morph into a woman and say, let me show you tomorrow, or let me show you something new in Miami or something like that. So that's possible as well. So that's all I can think of right now. I'm not getting inspired by anything right now, but that's kind of it. The copying is important, but so is the costume. So is the costume and nature. Nature is also important, but there's so many other things in nature that don't make sense. And the human makes sense, but I also do things that also animals do. So there's a distinction there where I'm not really an animal, but sometimes I might act like an animal. So there's comedy and there's moving around and what animal dances the best, what daughter talks the cutest, dances the best, or what clown will show you like the most, or a different kind of entertainment. So that's kind of like what it is. It's all that kind of goes down with entertainment. So entertainment is kind of winning, but when I see some of these entertainers, uh, and I've seen them for like, or the story is that they've been performing for like 80 years or 40 years. That's such a long time to perform that that's too much work. So it's basically about not working as much, taking care of your body, and also meeting other people. So that's kind of like where um, I've noticed that you just don't get these people that come and talk to you and stuff like that. So there's less and less of those people. So I feel like I've been left behind. So I'm like, hey, wait for me or wait up. I'm kind of like here waiting for my thing to resolve, and once that resolves, then I can leave. But that's what I noticed that they don't teleport as much, uh, and they don't talk as much. So there's something else. There's someone else with another story. You got to do this, or you got to make him do that, and blah blah blah. So what makes this person so important? Well, we're trying to like influence the whole state of Miami or just Miami. We want it to be a certain way, and this and that. But I'm also lying to you. So it's kind of both. So it's kind of like the human in the mind says, well, I'm just gonna do what's kind of good for me, and sometimes when it doesn't work out, then you're forcing me. Then I'm not a happy human. And some people might want that, but don't let them win. If you're not a happy human, I've seen so many people quit, and when they quit, I don't know if they're leaving, they're taking the bus, they're flying out of here, and they're doing that. But I see Eva Zubek on TV going to Palestine, going to freaking Europe, going to freaking Saudi Arabia, going to Mexico. But there should be more Spanish people doing that. That's what I've seen. So it's the programming or the person saying, well, let me show him this instead of, I'm sure there's tons of Spanish people that talk like her or also have that experience. So after a while, it doesn't become a big deal. But for someone that doesn't has not experienced it or done it, then it is like smoking this cigarette and enjoying it. So too much of cigarette, too much of the cigarette. So um, that's kind of it. There's a lot of things that were free, and there's free Wi-Fi and free cell phones. But there's always someone saying, well, let's take that away, or let's freaking take away there's free bikes, there's probably free cars that you could get if you look or if you ask. But it's also magic. It might just be here for some time and then it goes away. But, there's free adoption, free kids, but it's a matter of living life to the fullest and getting some of that. So that's kind of like where I'm at, where I'm getting some of the free stuff, and then I went into office to pay about $149, $249 for an office. But I don't know if that's going to be the right amount. It's an office, you know. So sometimes an office outside, an office at the beach is just so much better. So then it becomes about something else. There's no cigarettes there. There's a lot of beer, but I don't want to drink beer. You know, there's alcohol. I don't really want to. There's free food. I'll take a little bit of free food. Coffee. You have coffee? Do you have free, free boat ride? We could, surf for free, stuff like that. That I haven't seen. If it was up to me and I had a place to store the surfboard, I would maybe buy two surfboards and give people free surf rides. But not everyone likes surf, you know. So that's kind of like the way I see it sometimes, and the philosophy thing. But anyway, I hope you're not too bored. Tomorrow I'll study the video and I'll try to make it a little more sense. So it becomes about a speech that made you feel good. So I hope it's more than that. It's about a speech that changed your life. It's not about feeling good. It changed your life, but I was too short there. So it's about a speech that changed your life and motivate you and inspired you to leave and go somewhere and live life without dying and having daughters and being poor and poor being better than rich. So it's about that. So if you could get that in a nutshell and you're able to talk about it and share it without any malice, we're using the word malice, without any harming anyone or doing anything bad, then more power to you, or more energy to you, or more good people around you. So that's really what it's about. And the pictures help, but there's so many other pictures that we can use. So I hope you know, the pictures were okay. Plus, this could all just be an illusion. I could probably just be on a different planet. This could be a hologram.